You can intro it.
Oh yeah. All
Yeah.
right. All right. Are we recording?
Yeah.
Alrighty, guys. Welcome back to another East versus West podcast, the only place to get your dose of both coasts. Today, we're heading back to one of our classic videos, which is our what is it?
Good.
Welcome back to another East versus West podcast, my friends. It is myself, Eddy and Anthony from the Knights of Horror. We are doing your East versus West podcast, and today we're bringing back one of our classics, which is our coast comparisons. And today, who are we checking out, Anthony?
The Bride of Frankenstein Lives. We had just talked about Universal Monsters The Legends Collide last week on the show. So this week we thought it felt appropriate to react to a Universal Monsters maze, specifically The Bride of Frankenstein Lives of last year at both events. Now, okay, you were going to say something.
For the first time ever, with both having experienced the East Coast.
Yes, indeed. But this is going to be a really interesting one. If you guys know the history behind this maze thus far, in 2020, we were all supposed to get it on both coasts. Actually, no. Let me take that back. Murdy didn't have a plan for a third maze. He didn't. And in 2020, when COVID was at its highest, Universal was like, we're gonna release two mazes so we can still give people the Halloween feel, and one of them is going to be the Bride of Frankenstein Lives, an original they came up with. Now, Murdy liked this idea so much that he pretty much asked them if he can use it and bring it over to Halloween Horror Nights in Hollywood, but he changed up some stuff along the way, of course, making it more of a Hollywood original. But the essential story was there. Now, as Eddy was saying, in 2021, this maze, we got to both experience it. That's because in 2021, both events came back at full capacity again. And I got to go over to Orlando for the very first time and check out what they had to offer over there. I've heard such great things over the past years, and I was not disappointed at all. So we are going to be reacting to both videos today. We're going to see what was different, what was the same, what we didn't like, what we did like. And overall, we're giving you guys the opportunity to react with us, and you guys can give your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. But without further ado, we're going to start on the West Coast today, and we are looking at Theme Park HD's video. So shout out to Theme Park HD. You have saved us more than ever for these coast comparisons, so we appreciate you. But Eddy, you ready to start this thing or what?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
All right, countdown in 3, 2, 1. All right, so this was in the Parisian Courtyard. This was housed to last year was I don't remember what was last year, but this was housed to the first ever Universal Monsters. This is where we had it.
Okay. That facade reminds me of the Tooth Fairy.
Yes. So we went with like a kind of a book. So it was based off Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. I believe that was her name. The author who wrote Frankenstein. And so Murdy put these kind of pictures, like you're reading the book, and it tells each chapter of the story. So this is obviously the tragedy that happened from the first movie, how it ends.
So very, very similar in what they're trying to portray here.
Right.
But on different scales.
On a much smaller scale, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the official, her trying to, she saved the monster, now she's going to this cabin so they can get away and kind of hide out and recover. But she's, obviously interrupted by some uninvited guests. I feel like I said that at perfect timing. So now we are transitioning into the Bride Hunter.
This is the first time I'm watching this, and this is very Brides of Frankenstein meets the Tooth Fairy.
Yeah, if you look at those masks for the Bride of Dracula. But I know what you mean with the postcards and everything, all the notes and.
And some of those masks look like tooth fairies.
Yeah, it probably is. They probably tweaked them a little bit. So there's our first look at the Hunter Bride. She looks so badass. And this is the bride's lair where she was getting all the blood and had captive some of the brides of Dracula and experimenting. Fun fact, actually, one of my friends who's a scare actor, he actually played one of the brides of Dracula.
So a dude played the bride?
Yeah, because a lot of them were in masks, and they didn't get enough women to audition for those roles, so they ultimately just started hiring
guys.
Men as well. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, but they did do a good job hiring all the actresses who played the bride, which looked phenomenal. You know, it's funny. I think after this maze, they actually made the bride at Universal Studios Hollywood a meet and greet character with Frankenstein's monster.
Oh, nice.
So this is her injecting him in the blood, and now he is reborn.
Dude, the scenic is pretty impressive.
Yeah, the Universal Monsters mazes always do a great job on scenic in Hollywood.
So Parisian Courtyard is lower lot for you guys?
Upper lot. So it's gonna
Upper
be
lot.
it's right when you go through the main gates. It's literally like the you go down the main street, and then there's this big courtyard, and that's Parisian Courtyard.
Gotcha.
If you were to ever come, I know your first visit will probably be during Horror Nights, but if you ever decide to come in the off season, I can show you exactly what that place looks like when there's no maze there. You'll be shocked to see how they fit a maze like this, a 5-minute walkthrough in that little space. I'm shocked by it every year. So yeah, nice. Our maze then goes out into a scare zone, and the scare zone idea based off that was all the it was the women in horror. So they basically made fictional films based off a lot of the monsters like kids that were all like women. So it was really cool to see a lot of like the made up stuff. They had like fake trailers playing in the background, and they had a whole score for it. So it was really cool.
Dude, that so was Slash doing that house?
Yeah, Slash did do that house.
Gosh, I didn't pay attention.
Yeah, no, I mean, it is. It's kind of hard when you watch a POV, and especially because we were kind of commentating throughout the whole thing. But if you go back and rewatch it, Slash's, you can hear his score in the background, so it was cool to hear that. But it's a little hard to pick up on camera too. So,
gotcha. All right, so are we pulling up
Orlando time? So we're gonna do theme park POV for this one. And we're going to look at the 2021 version of this one. He's got a pretty good track record of making these POVs. I don't know. This is your time to shine now. You can give some maze commentary, and I will chime in because I actually got to go through this one.
Yeah.
So this will be fun. So 3, 2, 1. All right. Bride of Frankenstein Lives, Halloween Horror Nights 30, Universal Studios Florida, Orlando Resort 2021. So yeah, you guys got quite the walk for each maze.
Dude, some of the parade buildings are like the worst.
Oh, they're horrible. I was like, dude, I'm getting more exercise than I am getting scared.
I know, it's torture getting back from those mazes.
I thought this was cool. It showed the actual footage from the film, and then you walk around the corner, and then you see this giant set, and I'm just like, holy shit.
Yeah, and this is your set
in a much smaller scale.
Steroids.
Yeah. Our set was literally like, oh, that's the display we showed at a convention just so we can give you an idea of what it's gonna look like, and then that was the final product.
and also her scream was a lot more present in this one.
Yeah.
And the Frankenstein that they use is also a lot different too. The like puppet or mannequin, whatever that they used.
Yeah.
Between the East and West.
I do notice though, and we've talked about this in the past, that how more tight spaced your mazes are as far as, you know, and you notice the difference. I've noticed the difference when I went through this year. I actually got to see it. It's not as bad as I thought it was. It looks a lot more claustrophobic on camera, but it's not nearly as bad in person. Yeah,
but it's noticeably more narrow.
Like, you know how, like, when you watch a Hollywood POV, you see, like, the long hallways and stuff, you know what I mean?
And when you enter a room, it's like you entered a space.
Yeah.
Here it's like you enter a room and it's like you just have
On to
this
the next.
narrow space to walk. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's coming up, yeah. So if you guys pay attention right here, and Connor pointed this one out to me, the Creature of the Black Lagoon Easter egg.
Where?
It's in one of the like lagoon. It's in like a preserver, like in water and shit. It's like in a preserver thing, a tank.
Let's see if we see it.
I know it's coming up. It wasn't in that room. I thought it was that room. But it looks like
And I just noticed that they're using the plexiglass.
yeah, which wasn't too bad though, because I got to walk through without masks, so I was fine.
Yeah. You know, I feel like this house was amazing.
Right? It was in this area. The creature. I think it was to the left, or it's coming up.
Oh, right there, right there. Was that him right there?
I think it's
right there, right there.
Right here. There it is. Yep. Yeah, so that was the one and only time I ever saw a creature from the Black Lagoon in a Universal Monsters maze. And
dude, the first Universal Monster maze with the creature was amazing.
I know. It was beautiful.
So this house was amazing to me, but this is a very fast-paced walkthrough.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Oh, look at that projection. That's dope.
Yeah, they do a good job with projections here. I'll give them that. And the lab looks cool at the end.
Yep.
So if I'm not mistaken, this shared a spot with Tooth Fairy, right?
Yes. And you know what? The house itself seemed longer, but the actual like POV was about the same length because your POV took it a lot slower.
Yeah, and that's the thing I noticed was, yeah, this one felt a little bit faster, but it kind of flowed through right. But yeah, because ours took slower.
Yeah,
it kind of matches up, and Theme Park HD really likes getting details and stuff. So
yeah, and if I had to, it may be because of the POV, but what I would say about both, just watching them now, because I actually had never watched the West Coast version.
right,
This is actually the first time, so you guys are getting a raw reaction.
Reaction,
right? We destroy you guys in the opening scene,
yeah.
but you guys pick up the pace as it moves on.
I think we have. I would say we have a very strong closing scene too.
Yeah, and also your rooms, because they seem more spacious, seem a lot more immersive.
Right.
But it could just be that this guy was moving so quick through the damn maze.
Yeah. I mean, I have nothing bad to say, honestly, about either maze because I got to experience both of them in person.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, one told one story their way, and the other told their way, their story. So it was cool to see the two things. And it's funny enough. I wish you could have been there. Or we could have met up or something. But the entire time I was walking through all these Horror Nights mazes in Orlando, I was like, oh, fuck, I can't wait to do Coast Comparison this year, dude. I really can't. Like, it's going to be so cool that I've actually been through them now and I can give some input on the 2021 mazes.
Right.
But yeah, it was a great time. I really enjoyed walking through that. I think I went through that. I went through that one at least 5 times when I went because it wasn't a very long line when I went, you know, so it was a lot of fun to go through it a couple times to see that and to see Bride of Frankenstein Lives on the West Coast. I mean, I was there at Awaken the Spirits that summer when they announced it and when we got to hear the exclusive music for it. Like, it was just cool, and he pretty much broke it down what the story was going to be, showed us a ton of concept art about it. So I was sold at that panel for that maze. And then, you know, when it came to the final product, I was so blown away that easily this was probably one of my favorites thus far. But yeah, I think that both coasts did a great job of presenting the story to the audience and really immersing you into that world.
Yeah, and if my memory serves me right, the East Coast version of this particular house was a lot better than that POV made it seem.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Because that opening alone, I mean, like I said, you had to see it in person to really be blown away by it. And Eddie and I kept mentioning it in the video where ours was just a much smaller scale of it. But this set, I kid you not, was at least 2 stories high. And just to have like an actual massive set, it actually felt like you were on a film set watching this movie be made.
And you felt the rumble of that big piece
Yeah,
of
with
wood
the
that shows
speakers
moving.
being so loud, you kind of just felt it through your body and everything
Yeah.
and all that. And they did a really good job of capturing that moment of you walking under the bride trying to rescue the monster. So
Yeah.
it was really cool to see that, and I really just enjoyed the maze overall, the feel of it, everything. It just flowed right through, and to tell this story and give the bride more of a role this time around. I think she's more known now because of this maze than she ever was. I mean, she's obviously an iconic monster because, you know, her iconic scream and stuff, but I think this maze really made her a legitimate badass.
Yeah, no, it gave her center stage.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and you know she had, you know, the movie was about her, but if you really watch the movie, she doesn't really become like reanimated Bride of Frankenstein until the very end of the film. The
Yep.
entire film is Dr. Frankenstein trying to bring his wife back to life, you know, through the monster and stuff, and it just didn't work out. Like, so you only see bits and pieces of her up until the very end. You finally see her as the bride, and she's only in the movie for a little bit, and that little bit is some of the most iconic scenes in cinema. So to see her get not only a spiritual sequel, but a badass role that really I was just immediately drawn into when I first heard about it, I was like, this is going to be one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my life. Hands down. You got a freaking reanimated body fighting fucking vampires to save the man that she loves. Like, at that moment, it kind of made you think like, oh, dude, she fucked up. Now she really knows that she loves this person, and she'll do it. She'll go through anything. She'll do anything to get this person back. Kind of doing the same thing of what Dr. Frankenstein did to the bride.
She's a real one. She's
100%.
What every Halloween Horror Nights guy is looking for in a woman.
So, ladies, you know what you have to do. You have to die so he can bring you back, and then you're going to get so scared that he brought you back that's going to kill him, and then you got to go on a journey to bring him back, and boom, you guys are forever destined to be together forever.
Take notes. Men love that Marge hair.
There's going to be a lot of death involved, but in the end it's going to be a happy ending, I promise.
Right? Yeah.
But I overall final consensus, I have to say both killed it this year. I really can't pick a favorite. I liked both for what they did, and honestly in 2021 Bride of Frankenstein Lives was probably my favorite maze of all time on the West Coast. So it was hard for me to choose.
If I have to pick off of those POVs, the West Coast seemed a little bit better as it progressed through.
Right.
But having gone through the East Coast or house myself, it was amazing. So I don't know. That's a tough one. I look forward to the day where we both experience both, and then we have this conversation.
Oh, it'd be a whole different conversation, you know? Like,
right?
We're both in the maze together. We may even do live East versus West video live at the park, like us walking through the mazes and giving us our reactions right then and there.
Only on the West Coast.
Only on the West.
You can't film on the East Coast.
Well, I'm not saying like in the maze. I'm talking about like after the maze. Just come out in the scare zone and just start talking about it.
Or we could go through mic'd up.
Yeah, and just record audio.
East versus West, mic'd
and then
up.
I'll just put in a POV there. That way you know what we're going through and you hear our reactions, but it's a different POV.
That'd be dope.
That'd be really fun.
Yep.
Who knows? Never say never, right?
Yep.
Never say never. But for all you guys joined today, thank you guys so much. Be sure to check out the Boo Bros if you guys are brand new to this channel. It's not just me and Eddie here. We have a wide variety of amazing, talented creators here on this channel, from West Coast to East Coast. There, we cover it all, coast to coast. And I said this before, Halloween is our busiest season, so you'll see more content during the summer Halloween season than you will throughout the rest of the year. But we still keep you guys up to date, and we keep content flowing throughout the year so you guys can get that Halloween fix year round. But if you guys like me or Eddie specifically, you know, go check out Eddie on Eddytainment. He's got a lot of lifestyle theme park adventure videos that you'll enjoy, and he's always going to different little theme parks around his area, and of course making frequent trips over to Universal Studios in Orlando. If you guys are horror and haunt fans year-round like myself, come check me out at the Nights of Horror, where we do a wide variety of videos between podcasts with actual scare actors to haunt coverage and even horror-themed videos. So if you guys are into that, come check me out on the Nights of Horror. But all together, we are the Boo Bros right here on the Boo Bros channel. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you guys did, hit that like button and that subscribe button with that bell notification be where every time we put up a new video, the one stop to get your dose of both coasts is right here on the Boo Bros. So check us out. With all that being said, I'm Anthony.
And I'm Eddie.
And we will see you guys next week for another episode of East versus West.
Stay spooky. Deuces. All right, let's start that over.
God, that was so hilarious. Entertainment personality was on, bro, and then all of a sudden, what is it? Coast comparison.
Coast comparisons. Gosh darn it. All right, let's start that over. All right.
That's got to be a blooper. You know that, right? I'm going to leave that in at the very end of the video.
I know.